Welcome to 50's AF Podcast with your host, Nicole Chanis. And today, our subjects are going to be with my guest who's been there, done it, and is still dating. But this person is going to be able to discuss, whereas I'm going through the process, as many of you in the audience, well, we get to hear from someone that's kind of been there, done it, and coming out on the other side in a successful, healthy, committed relationship right now. So that's the game we're playing today. That's where we're going. And this is a no kid zone on this one, just saying. So with that, I'd like to welcome my guest, Susie Heyman.
Thank you. This is so exciting. I'm just so honored to be here.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
It's so much fun. And audience, on purpose, Susie and I never spoke. We never really talked about anything.
Never.
We wanted it to be like totally authentic, like two girls like shooting the shit, talking about the shit that nobody talks about, but everyone goes through.
Yep.
You know, and so do you, tell me first of all, like just to give the audience a little background, like did you come out of divorce, a widow, like, and how many years, you know, if you can give that background?
Yeah, I've been married twice. And the first time was 8 years. I have 2 children from that marriage. They're now 20 and 22 almost. And then I got remarried, and I was married 15 years. And that ended about a little over 2 years ago. So I immediately started dating. And oh boy, I have a lot of stories.
Oh, she has story time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things. So I am going to just throw out some subjects that we're going to talk about because we're going to like have fun with this one. So one of the first things, you know, you navigated a long time dating and out of a long-term relationship, which is what this is all about. Whether you're a widow or divorced, coming out of pretty much in your 50s, if you're dating, you came out of one of those scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of them is body positivity. Like, now I have gone through menopause, and you are just beginning.
Yes,
I know.
Yes, my mother, they always say you're like your closest relative, and she had a hysterectomy at 35, so I don't know when it's coming, but I'm ready. Enough already.
You're so done with that.
I'm so ready.
And
yes.
now it's like you don't know. It's like, is it happening? Not happening? You know?
I get hot. That's all I know.
You get hot.
I get hot flashes
so
for sure.
Do you have to like? Does your neck turn like red?
I'm sweaty everywhere, and I just showered. Like I need it to happen and be past that.
Okay, so here we go. We're going through menopause, been through menopause, whatever it is. You know, how did you find keeping a body positivity image and being secure enough to be naked with another guy?
Yeah.
Like,
well, so I didn't finish that. I got remarried and I had 2 more kids. So I've had 4 kids. This body's been every size and shape. and then, you know, you kind of get to a place that you're just comfortable and you let yourself go. I'm not proud of it. But in the past few years, I've really taken care of myself. I help a lot of people change their health. And so for me, I definitely am in a better shape now, but you know, we're older and you have to work out, you have to eat right, and it just doesn't look like it could. But when you have the right partner and you feel truly comfortable with them, I'm totally comfortable, way more than I've ever been in my entire life being naked.
I think that's a strong statement. With the right partner, they bring out, you know, that positivity and they feed the love language of making you feel confident, basically.
I don't feel judged. And I think I felt judged my whole life. And I mean, I never, ever, since my 20s, wore shorts. Like I was very self-conscious about my legs, veins, this and that cellulite. Now I don't care. I will wear bikinis. I would never in a million years, I would go out with a skirt. I mean, that's what I would do, a tankini and a skirt. And I felt cute, which I look back, I'm like, what are you doing? You're like an Amish woman completely covered up. And that's where I was. I'm not like that anymore. Since I moved to Florida 2 years ago, I will wear a bikini. And do I look perfect? No. But you know what? You go on the beaches, nobody really does. Yeah. Nobody really does.
Unless you got that
unless you
something bounce the coin off their ass kind of body, you know.
That'll never be me.
No, and we all have our insecurities, and people may look at you and go, what are you talking about? But it doesn't matter if somebody even tells you sometimes, you know, as our bodies are going through these changes, and like I was telling you I haven't worked out in a few weeks or 2 months, and I'm like, menopause arms, they exist. It's a real thing. That's why I'm sitting here with my arms closed now. I'm kidding. But no, it's just like, I know for me, along the lines of dating, like, I just, oh my God, the idea of getting naked in front of another man.
Yeah.
And just like, am I good enough? Do I look good enough? Am I in my head too much to enjoy having sex? Like, did you find sometimes, during your process, like, I know I need to be mentally in a good place to really enjoy sex, and we do have sex in our 50s. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find it better now than
the best ever, ever, ever?
I know.
Yeah, and I would never have sex without the lights off ever before. Now every morning, every light, I don't care.
Oh my God, morning sex is the first thing for me ever, and I'm loving it.
Oh, the best.
I never was really into it, and I'm like, oh, this shit's good.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a great way to start your day.
It is. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but I ask myself, like, a lot of times, like, well, why am I enjoying this so much more? Why am I so much more confident and at the same time insecure? Mm-hmm. And I think it has a lot to do with your partner, like you said, and the way they see you and love you for who you are as you're in a committed relationship.
I feel genuine love for him. I know he does for me, and I know he turns me on, I turn him on. So I don't worry about it. I would cover up if I got out of bed. I would never walk naked. I don't care at all. We shower every single day together. I don't care.
Aw, that's so good. Yeah. Did you have that in previous relationships?
No.
So let's talk about some of your wonderful dating. Like, give us because this one's a fun podcast that we're just sharing this shit.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned something about dick pics. Go for it. You got
I'm just going to say, I don't know how many listeners are from South Florida, but I'm from Maryland originally, and I wasn't dating there. It's been years and years. I met my second husband online, and there wasn't much out there. I met him on J-Day. We're both Jewish, and so that was it. Years ago. Okay. Here, I get down here, I end up single, and a lot of scam artists, a lot of people with their pictures that aren't really them, and they just lead with that. I mean, I literally could have a casual conversation with someone, back and forth. It's nothing. It's not going anywhere. That night, I went out with my girlfriends, and I looked down at my phone, and I looked at them. I said, I won. Not only did I get a dick pic, I got a video of him having sex with someone else, and I got like a video of him playing with himself.
Are you kidding
me? And I was like, what is the matter with these people? But I won because I've never seen anyone get that much without putting any effort.
Somebody actually sent a video?
Yeah, I can show you. It's unbelievable. I've deleted it from my phone, but I've sent it to enough people that it has to be in my text somewhere. It is crazy, these people. Or they try to have sex with you over text quickly. You don't know them. So I've had all kinds of things like that. I've been out, I'm going to say, a lot of dates, maybe 1,000. I mean,
seriously? So would you, in like 1 week, how many would you have done?
Oh, I could do 3 a day. Meet and greets and dates combo. Oh, yeah.
Okay, my jaw is dropping. I can barely get through. 2 dates is a lot of work in a week, I would think. Yeah.
Well, what happened was I knew I would travel a lot, so I had to fit it in on my openings, but then I got really good in being selective. So I wouldn't waste my time. And I will tell you, like I said, they're not real. A lot of these guys give you their greatest picture ever, or they're not even them at all. So I started, okay, hey, they're like, can I have your number? I'm like, all right, if I give you my number, the first thing you need to do is send me a selfie giving me a peace sign. Oh. Let me tell you how difficult that is for someone. Oh yeah, if they are not really them, you're not getting it. They have a real problem with it. They go crazy. You don't trust me. You know it's not them. Or no problem. They send it and you're like, okay, wait, you're not even attractive. You are amazingly attractive. It's just not them. Or there's like 30 years age difference. So that's what you'll see. And of course, before I now would meet, not now, but when I was dating, I would go and do a FaceTime before because I don't want to waste my time anymore.
See, okay, we have not spoken. She doesn't know what I subscribe to. I constantly talk about predating.
Yeah.
And I on another podcast, we talked about the stupid pictures that guys post and how they don't know when you click the picture, it says what year it is. So you're posting a picture from 2013, 17, and I'm buying that. Are we dumb?
Yeah. They do think you're an idiot. They do.
But I will tell you, men have the same experience.
Oh, the one thing I love, and it makes me feel really good, is I'm told, wow, you look just like your pictures or better. They'll tell me I look better, so I feel good about that. But I've seen it, and my boyfriend tells me, I mean, every girl.
Yeah.
And even my friends. Like, I have people, I know people that post, and their pictures are amazing, and they look different in person.
I'd rather have someone
Filters.
tell me I look better in person.
Oh, yeah.
Than on picture, which I do here.
I think you look, I mean, I think you do, by the way. I've only seen pictures.
It's so weird.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I get that a lot. And, so what would be some other than that? Like, so we're kind of touching on the subject of being on the dating apps and, the shit show. We all know it. We've talked about it many times. So you've experienced it. And then, how would you, okay, how do I want to say this? I've had plastic surgery. Don't know if you ever have.
No, I had a tummy tuck after my 4 kids. Yeah,
well deserved.
Yeah.
So, okay, so like that's another thing when you're dating, whether it's hair extensions, lashes, your boobs have been done, tummy tuck. And that also brings a sense like, oh, when do I reveal that side to me that, the scars and things like that. And women our age, not the majority, but bulk of the majority. But you go anywhere else, outside like Miami, New York, LA, and all these Midwest, people don't necessarily do as much as we may hear.
Right.
But it's like, okay, what is he going to think about that scar I have, and how do I deal with that?
I'm really confident, and if someone's going to judge me for that, they're not my person. You know what I mean? So I actually want that to come out early. If it does, I've never had an issue, because nowadays the scars are so minimal, unless you're having full body reconstruction. But mine is just, was in the same spot because I had 2 C-sections, so that wasn't terrible. But I do my lashes, and I'm upfront about that. I mean,
but your lashes look good.
Yeah,
they're not like butterflies flying away.
Right. Yeah, I try to make it more natural. My girl's amazing, but I'm not. And I get my nails done. I'm not a hair extension person because I'm not an upkeep girl. I hate sitting to get my nails done. I hate sitting to get my hair done. I hate it. It just makes my skin crawl. People love when you get your hair, you put your hair back into the bowl. They're like, oh my gosh, the massage. That's not me. I'm like, just wash me and I'm done. Yeah. I do not like when I get a pedicure. I don't need my feet massaged. That's just not my style.
It's really funny. Like when I'm with someone and it's the day I'm going to get my nails and stuff done, and they're like, oh, enjoy your, mani-pedi. I'm like, enjoy?
It's not
Let me tell you, because in Florida, there isn't 2 people doing it at the same time.
Right.
It's a 3-hour thing.
And I hate that.
And I find it because first of all, your hands are not available. Okay. Whatever, if you do like
for texting
nails.
and stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like it's a total waste of freaking time, and it pisses me off so much. And this is the kind of stuff I talk about, the difference between a guy, 10 minutes before they have to leave, all they do is hop in the shower. Hopefully they hop in the shower before a date. And I do say hopefully, because I've definitely seen.
You've seen some gross,
I have. And so going back to what you were saying about FaceTime, so my thing is I do strongly believe, and so, you did the same thing, and that is like, I don't want to rely on the dating app or anything. And why even go out for a cup of coffee or lunch?
There's no reason.
Just get on FaceTime for a few minutes, and like that way I know you're who you are.
Yeah. And you can tell if they're a dud too.
Yeah, right?
If you don't gel and mesh, there's no reason to meet up. It's sometimes it's painful when you're talking, it doesn't flow. So those are the people you'd avoid. But I used to be on 12 sites. It was a full-time job for me.
Like are there even 12 sites?
Oh, there's 12 sites. Yes. I was on 12 sites. And what happened was, here it's going to come out just a little woo-woo. I saw a psychic in March of 2023, and he said that my love is coming. The connection unlike any other. He gave specifics. He said mid to late 50s. He said no kids at home or no kids at all. Like, he just didn't see children. He saw our connection business-wise, this and that. So in June 1st, I'm like, I got to do something. I gotta really take care of myself. So I started really trying to lose weight, started to make myself look a little bit better than I was. I was already dating, but I knew my person was coming. And, I will tell you, guys do the same thing. Guys are out there. They are. Some guys are getting plugs. Some guys. I mean, there's the same insecurities across the board.
Oh, yeah.
But I just find that if if you do take the time to really put the effort into finding your person, you can weed them out super fast. I'm a pro. I almost want to create a business of it because I've set up 9 couples. I've got married. They're still together. I love it. I everywhere I go, I'm networking. I connect people. I find out they're single. I keep them in my like repertoire and I set them up. I love that.
So you're a matchmaker in the making naturally.
I love it. Yeah.
Wow. And you said something like you got inspired from this psychic, like, okay, that person's coming. And you made changes. Here's the interesting thing. You didn't make changes before, but you made changes when someone said to you.
I know.
Why do you think that made you, what made that the issue to make you make changes that you felt was better putting yourself out dating?
Well, again, I thought if I'm going to have sex with someone new, I really want to feel good. And I'm a confident person, but you're out eating, drinking, it just, you go up and down, you're traveling. And so I just really wanted to focus on it, making the changes. And I'm glad I did. And he came around, my guy.
Your guy came around.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to say how you met?
Oh, yeah. Online. We met the end of 2022. And he was living in Boston. I was living here. So he was traveling back and forth for work. Eventually, he moved here in July. But in that time, we were supposed to go out 3 times. We never connected. I started seeing someone else. And when we broke, and I was posting a lot because I'm very out there social media wise. And when I was posting about him, people loved the love I had with my ex-boyfriend. They loved the pictures together, following our journey. And when we broke up, I went back online and this guy comes out. He said, "What are you doing? Why are you online again? I loved your love. I followed you guys." Aww. It was adorable. But and then we became very, friendly. I told him about my guys. He told me about his girls. And eventually we connected and he's my guy. And I never even, because he was right in front of me and I've talked to him for ages, I didn't put it together. He was the guy that the psychic was talking about. But the one statement the psychic said is, his energy is around you, but you've never met. And that bothered me because I was like, that's such a BS thing. I mean, his energy's around me. What does that mean? I have never met him. What energy's around me? Well, his energy was around me. I met him in December online and we never met, but we talked and we finally met up and tomorrow is 8 months.
Oh, yeah, mazel tov, congratulations.
Yes, it's great. It's the greatest, healthiest relationship.
You and I were talking about when you're dating in our age, it's so much accelerated. So like 8 months is like a freaking year and a half.
It's years. We've been through so much already. My dad died during this. We've had a full house reconstruction. We live together. We do everything together. We're in the same business now. I mean, he's my person. He's my partner. And I finally have a partner, which is healthy.
Yeah. It is really.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, when you were dating, did you have any general rule of thumb, like how long to stick around and see if this is a viable relationship or dip out? Like, did you ever have okay, if I don't know by XYZ, I'm out? Or did you stick some shit out and go, why am I in this?
Yeah, I got really good at, I just kept thinking futuristically. If they're not going to be in my future, there's no reason. I don't need to hook up with someone. We all could hook up with people.
Right.
I'm looking for my person, my partner. So as soon as I knew for sure they weren't that person, done.
So did you, because I know we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
So as I've been doing this, the consensus is 3rd date rule.
Oh, for sex?
Yeah. Did you pretty much follow that? Or
Well, it was very different with my boyfriend because we'd been talking for 10 months.
I'm talking about your whole dating time.
Not
with him.
I mean, was there any one night? I'm trying to think. I don't know, but I'd slept with very little, very few people because down here is very scary. I'm telling you, they're very dishonest.
Yep.
Gotta be very, very careful. And I've been burnt. I've had somebody have a double life, scam artist.
No.
And I'm best friends to this day with the other girl. She's the one that let me know, and I'm so grateful because I was all in because it was my first relationship out of my marriage. Honestly, it could have been anyone. If they showed me any love and affection after 15 years of feeling dead, I was all in.
Yeah.
And then it took 3.5 months of them. I was the other 5 months, 5.5 months with him, but the first 3.5 months he was still with her, overlapping us, and I had no idea. He was always tired, and it was because he had to keep up with his lies. It was just exhausting.
Sounds like someone I did. I wonder if it's the same guy.
Oh, my gosh.
Was he a doctor?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So this guy I dated, on paper was everything.
Yeah, on paper.
Which is another thing. Friends like to tell you what you must have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. But,
I make more than most doctors now. Doctors aren't doing so great with insurances, with everything malpractice.
No, this guy
He probably did well.
He had other means and he was retired. But he was so aggressive and constantly making me feel like I was cheating on him. I've never cheated in my life. Like, I was just like, doing my thing.
Insecurities.
Well, he didn't come across that way. Like, he just was so confident and an air about him, and I respected his intelligence and all these things. Like I said, on paper, Mr. Perfect. And, you know, those of you that watch me often, he wound up being what's called Mr. New Year's Eve, because I flew back from California, and the night before New Year's, he's like, well, can we talk, and blah, blah, blah. Don't want to be together. I'm like, you saved me a conversation. I'm not feeling you either. But, you know, so months later, a person that I'm acquaintances with called me and said, I have a friend that would like to talk to you. She thinks that you dated the same person.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm like, I didn't, you know, first of all,
what's
this person
the likelihood?
didn't right. But I didn't really like think of anything because like I wasn't really into this guy. But again, on paper, he was supposed to be Mr. Perfect. And he wasn't. So she calls me, lo and behold. I was even sick in the hospital while we were seeing each other. And he's like telling me things like, you know, because of some symptoms. Like, he's like, you better not have a sexually transmitted disease, which I didn't.
He's insecure as can be.
Wait. So he's like making me feel like so small. I'm like, I've only been with 2 men since my late husband. Like, what's wrong? Why are you treating me this way? Meanwhile, he was dating 2 other women at the same time as me.
That's a narcissist to the max.
When I called him out, I would say, like, you're a sex addict. No one's ever said that. I'm like, you know what? You are. So I've never addressed it, you know, but like, you know,
when they do that projecting of what they think you're doing is because they're doing it. And it took me years to understand this because I never was exposed to that. Narcissist Central down here. I hate to, you know, knock South Florida, but I've just come into it so much. And what I find a lot of is you will express your opinions about their action and they get irate. And now your feeling doesn't even matter. They're just so irate.
It's manipulation. It's all about them. They're manipulating
It's complete mentally manipulation. It's wild. And unfortunately, when you do figure that out, you have to go through so much emotionally to go get through that. So I've been through so much. I feel like such a strong person because I feel like I've just fought so many battles, you know, since I've been
like separate. A battlefield.
Yes.
A battlefield,
Love is a battlefield
of like swiping and picks and all that goes with it. But it is a battlefield. And I know, I too know some women that'll go on so many dates a week. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how you have energy for that. Yes. You know, like, okay, here's my life. It's just hit a recorder and hit it play. You know what I mean? Yes. But, and then there are some people that are just so scared to make that first step. And for me, you know, I was scared the first time, and then I was like, oh, this is just sitting and talking. I can do this.
And worst case scenario, if they are a nice person, you have a nice friend. And you could set them up with people, they'll set you up. And I do have those people in my life. Yeah.
So when you met your man that you're with now,
Mark.
Oh, okay. And I like to bridge a conversation because you're perfect for this. You know, you're in a relationship. Everybody comes with baggage from a past relationship. Did you find that in your now successful relationship, you had to address any of that?
Yes.
And get through it. And at what point did you feel comfortable talking about it?
Well, I will tell you, bring with you everything from the past if you didn't take care of it. And so I've been through therapy in my life. I've done everything, but I guess I never addressed the root of issues. So it will come out. Same with him. His first marriage, he was cheated on. So that stays, you know, those insecurities are there, and just childhood things for me. And it's amazing. You don't realize that the power your childhood and all your experiences has. And if you aren't open-minded enough to be able to see this and talk with someone and break it open and find the root of the cause of it, you will do the same dance with everyone, and it will never be successful.
That's right. So I like to call that, like, you need to fall in love with yourself, find your purpose, and you can date during that journey. But I strongly, and let me know if you feel the same way, that until you really love yourself and you have a purpose and an identity and you've dealt with your shit, you're not emotionally really in a healthy place to really be serious with someone. You can date as you're going through that journey.
I agree with this.
Do you feel that was what you're...
I agree, and I didn't listen to that. That was told to me, that was advised to me, and I didn't listen because I felt so dead being married 15 years and I wasn't happy for the last 8 years of it. So I didn't care. You don't know my story. I know, I just felt like I knew better until it all kind of showed me in my face. I didn't. And I worked on it. Both me and Mark, we've worked on it together, and it's the best. And it will keep evolving. Do we have our issues like everyone? Of course.
Right.
Of course. But yes.
And that's an interesting thing. It's like, I think women may feel despondent in the sense that they start dating, and the minute they see a yellow, which I didn't know there was something called yellow flag until a few months ago. For those of you that don't know, a yellow flag obviously is not green or red, but it's like
cautious.
It means it's not a make or break it, but let me just see what this is. So like, I feel like, a lot of women, the minute they see something,
they react.
Yeah, I think so. And I heard men too. Obviously, I think men, and where we live in South Florida, 100% I agree with you. It's a shit show beyond shit shows.
It really is.
And like, I personally as well was like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. This place, I'm going to get a place in another state as a summer place because my late husband dragged me to this swamp land. I didn't ask to go to this swamp land during the summer. So it's like, and it's like, and that's why you have to do a little bit of the work. And in order, like you were saying, I call it the hamster wheel, is what you were kind of on.
Yeah. My ex-husband too, we're very close, and he tells me about the women. I mean, they will send him disgusting videos of them playing with themselves. I mean, this is the same thing, like in reverse. There's all kinds of women that are like that. You're going to have it on both sides, but you have to do the work because everyone has baggage. And as you get older and older, I'm in my 50s. I'll be 54 tomorrow, believe it or not. And there's all kinds of issues out there. I've gone through so much. I have 4 kids. You think I don't have a lot on my plate? So you have to be with someone and understanding. But what I do, what I've learned, it's called being a witness. If you kind of bring yourself outside of yourself and you just witness what's happening. So if there's behaviors that you find questionable or whatever, you don't have to make a big deal out over everything, which I'm going to tell you is funny coming from me because I'm someone that made a big deal of things, when I first got out of my marriage. But now you have to pick your battles and realize if this person loves me, what's the worst case scenario? Okay, if we have that present, I can still handle it. Do you know what I mean? You pick your battles. Yeah.
No, and you said earlier about your childhood traumas, and for me, it's not necessarily childhood, but for me, I'm hard to trust you.
Yeah.
And secondly, for me, a button is if you elevate your voice or yell because of my past trauma. And so I had to learn not to punish somebody for someone else's past way they treated me.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So through therapy, again, a therapist had to teach me, like, don't impose punishing that person, just because it triggered from what other people did.
Great point. That should be the biggest takeaway of this podcast. I'm sorry, I'm not the one that said it, but it really is great because we do that.
Yes,
we do that.
Yes.
You know what? Hurt people want to hurt other people. So if you've done something to me that evokes this pain inside, it might come out as anger, but inside I'm just hurting, and so I want to crush you. That's the way it is because you've hurt me, and that's. Once you get through the therapy and you realize the root of it, no one's trying to hurt you. I mean, there are these people that are horrible, but that's not their intention. And they never said that thinking this would be how you perceived it.
Right. No, and so what I'm finding is that you, if you acknowledge something as a trigger and not punish that person for it, but you have to communicate, I'm just letting you know that this behavior is a trigger for me, and if you could kindly not show whatever it is, and them their response tells a lot.
Oh yeah.
If
they care, they're your guy. If they don't care, and a lot of them don't care.
Right. And so, women, men dating in your 50s, like, communication is so important because at this point we've been through marriages, most 90%, let's just say.
Yeah.
I personally won't even date someone that was never married or doesn't have adult kids.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah.
I feel like you will never understand my life.
My priorities.
And they like to say, I dated a woman that had children. Yep. I did this. The worst is, and the funniest is, I've been on 3 dates in the past that we show up and we meet and they still live at home with their wives in the other side of the house.
I've heard
like
that.
if you can't bring me home to
thing?
your house, then don't.
Is that a Boca thing? Like people for money don't want to get divorced?
Who
I've
knows?
heard so many.
It's insane.
And it's like I've seen one guy at one bar, he was drunk, and I was like looking at him with this woman hanging all over, and I saw a wedding ring on his finger. And like, I'm like, and he's like talking to me, and I'm just like, wait a second,
Disgusting.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
And his justification was, well, we like, our house and we don't want to give it up.
That makes
and,
sense.
we both agree that, to live this. And I'm just like, move the fuck on.
I mean, seriously, that is so messed up. And you have to question the woman that would be okay with that. That's the thing. And this one's not.
No.
This woman's not.
No.
Yeah.
And so you obviously come across today as a very confident, driven, successful woman. How do you navigate keeping your independence while becoming a couple with like Mark, for example? How did you navigate yet? Because we have so much independence, some because we had to, some just because they are, and obviously you were an independent person, I can tell. So how has it been finding that level of independence and still like alone time and going a full in on a relationship?
Well, first I want to just say that one of my hesitancies in dating down here after I got burned so many times is they can sense if you have money. They can sense, and if they're scam artists, they love you to death, and you don't realize what the real reason behind it is. So when you finally find someone that doesn't love you for your money, it's a great feeling, and it comes out. You could just see their actions. So once you're in that relationship, I encourage everyone to go, don't change for me, because I used to try to change someone. I mean, when you're younger, you want to train the guy, you want him to but they'll never truly feel authentic, and they will resent you.
They
down the
feel
road.
Belittled.
They feel emasculated. They definitely do. So for me, I want Mark to go have a life. He moved down here, so we both have new lives down here. And we've created this life together.
Yeah.
But I am all for independent girls trips, guys trips. Yes. I'm all for that. If you trust someone enough, then it should happen. Now, for me, I just don't enjoy it as much anymore. I want to be with him. So when I go out with my girlfriends, let me go out with my girlfriends. I'll have fun. Come meet us out eventually. You know what I just want to spend time with them, and I want my friends to know them.
Yeah. No, and it's so true. Yeah. It is so true. And, it for me, though, I don't know if it's because I was an only child and fiercely independent, and part of my life roadmap is called living in survival mode. So when you have that, it's going to take a lot to kind of get that key unlocked and trust. And at the same time, I have dogs. I love my dogs. Do you have dogs?
Yes, I have two.
What kind?
I have golden doodles.
Oh, me too. What color?
I have one little brown one and one big white one.
Oh, I have middle and small apricot. They're the best.
Yeah, apricot's
right?
my
Golden
brown one.
are the best.
Yeah,
So
they really are. They're my kids lay all over them like they're pillows. They're just even temperament. If you try to break into my house, you'll be sniffed to death.
I know. Exactly. I'm like, what's this barking? What are you going to do, little one? Yeah. You're scared of your own shadow. Like half the time. But like, I used to, before I was doing a lot of stuff, because I have some autoimmune issues, so I would use Monday. I would never book anything on a Monday, and I would just be in bed, recharging with my dogs. So I've lost that time. So it's kind of like I want to be with the person I'm dating, but at the same time, I'm like, I value my alone time too. And then you got the girlfriends you're trying to juggle too. Because like even when I gave advice to my adult children, I would always say to one of them, particular, I would say, don't give up all your friends when you meet a man.
I know.
Do not do that. Do you think that, did you ever do that? Or did you witness people doing that?
Oh, yeah. Because you want to spend all your time when you're like in that honeymoon phase and then you forget. But for me, like this Saturday I'm having people over, I try to incorporate them in. We always meet them out. And girlfriends will ask me for happy hour. I will do that.
Yeah.
He was on a bowling team. Like we try to do our own separate things, but we just enjoy each other. But in a healthy relationship, those aren't issues. It's really interesting. No one judges you for wanting to go do your own. They encourage it.
No, it should be. And that's the point. Like, you're hearing from both of us that, and I've had some badass women on here that I love and adore and thank you, and that are very driven. And a lot of men, when they see a woman independent or driven, they're like, oh, they're hardcore and, they're alpha. I don't want to be with an alpha.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, and I know you're an alpha.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for me, I'm an alpha in life. Fucking in the bedroom? No.
Oh, no. I want
life,
someone to be taken care of.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I may be alpha in my day-to-day actions, but I don't want to be an alpha in a relationship.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You need that healthy masculine. I just went through a course with this with my boyfriend, with the divine feminine and the healthy masculine. And let me tell you, we all are a little of both. Like, I am heavier. I wish I wasn't, because it serves me, but then it hurts me in cases that I'm heavier on the masculine. But then you have men who are masculine, but then you have them really wimpy, that they won't stand up for you. They won't support you. So to find someone that's balanced or that's working on being balanced is just a different whole animal. It really is.
No, it is. It really is. And, I think a lot of guys just assume that if you're confident, balanced, and no drama, like it's almost like we're untouchable, but no, like she's alpha. It's like, and I find it interesting.
Well, that's a wimpy man too. You know what I mean? An alpha male, someone who's really confident in themselves, will never take that stance. And I've had that. I've had that with men. They're not your person.
No, they're not your person.
They're not your person.
They're not your person. And, I just find it, I'm a little old fashioned. I don't know how your dating approach was, but, I speak my truth. And I would have been great in the 50s, basically. Yeah. I like to be romance. The guy picks you up.
Yes.
I don't like coffee bullshit. I want to go sit, have a drink and a dinner.
Yes.
And I want to feel sexy and at my best when I'm on a date. Now, that goes hand in hand with my concept of predating, though, where I've already kind of seen this person. There's interest. We've talked. Talking. So today in the dating world, God forbid two people get on the phone and talk before the first date.
Yeah.
It's like, and then there's the guys that like totally like say, hey, and you're like, hi. And they're like, hey, you want to get a drink sometime? I find that so offensive. Because
how's your Wednesday going? I'm like, that's their opening line. I just,
no.
There's no game behind it. I don't want any game, but I want effort. That's what I want. And that's very important to me. I need to feel like I matter, that they put the energy into me. If they don't, they're not for me, because I want a level playing field. I will give you my energy. I will make you feel special. And that when we talk together, my boyfriend and I'll say, why do you love me? He's like, because I love the way you love me. That's what he says.
I like that.
Yeah, and I love the way he loves me. So we really, I'm telling you, I feel very, very fortunate. No. I found the right one.
And you're on the other side.
Yeah.
It's
kind of hard to believe.
Do you envision marriage again?
Yeah, we talk about that. And especially just financially, we have big plans. So yeah, I think it'll probably even happen this year. Who knows?
Really? People ask me all the time, and I had 2 marriages too.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm very happy for my first, because I wouldn't have my wonderful 2 kids, and I respect him because they love him, and I never
put
my kids in the mix of things. And then my late husband that I was with, my second marriage, was my fairy tale marriage. And people often, I know a current widow that is just can't get out of her own way. And so a lot of women feel like they have to find somebody as close to, if it's a healthy relationship, the person that they were with. Yeah. Usually in divorce, because we've been there, so we can talk about this from experience. I too, by the time I got divorced, I had tried everything to make it work. Yeah. So when I got divorced, I was like a kid with candy. I was in my 30s, young. I just lived it up. At one point, I'm with a snowboarding dude. I'm like, hey, my kids are coming home. Can you go get some Taco Bell for me and then leave?
I joke. I mean, I would joke that in between marriages, I hoarded up. That's what I used to say. It wasn't crazy, but you know what? I had a little boy toy. I was someone 7 years younger than me. Like, it was just, I was having fun. I wanted no commitment. And I wasn't expecting, I just was online to date. I was not expecting to get remarried in my second marriage. And I also am somebody that never thought I'd have children, and here I have had 4 kids. So I never had fertility.
You didn't see yourself having kids?
No, because I was married for the first time almost 4 years before I had a child. It never happened, and I wasn't going to do fertility. I thought it's whatever God things should happen to me and I'm not meant to have kids. That's fine. Well, then,
God spoke.
Yeah, God spoke. And if the wind blew, and let me tell you, that is shut down. I had that tied right up after my last one when I knew I was done after my girl.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I didn't expect to have twins. I always wanted two. And, I remember that and that's part of this too. When you're in your 50s, your kids, you have 2 younger ones, but they're almost getting up there.
Well, that's tough in itself right now.
Oh God.
Growing up here in Boca.
How is that going, dating and having kids?
Well, that's fine. He lives with us now and it's great, but it's tough. And the funny thing is, before me, he'd been divorced 12 years. He said, never will I ever date someone again that has children in the home. That was his hard, fast rule. Until it wasn't.
I gotta tell you, same.
Right.
I had, again, these hard rules. And I did, and I can speak authentically and say even I was off on this. But part of my hard rules were that you must have kids, you must have been married, and they must be adult. Well, what I am as a person, as a core, back to raising my kids, we were like the hub home. I had like all these kids that I was like mommy too, and I loved it. I loved hugging and loving and doing and entertaining these kids and schlepping them everywhere and doing everything.
I'm human Uber.
So I thought like, the human Uber and wallet and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved everything, pre-party, prom, every little thing in the world. And then like, so this time dating my 50s, I'm like, I only want adult and I want a man that's semi-retired.
Good.
Is what I said.
So you could do together.
Well, no, these were my rules.
Oh.
So this particular person, like I broke every rule. I'll tell you why. Because I said, fuck it, I'm done. Done dating in Boca. It's a shit show. It's the same people.
That's it. I'm meant to be a lesbian.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not meant to be with a guy.
I mean, literally, like I'm done. Maybe when I buy a place in California, I'll find a guy there. Yeah. I'm just going to keep doing my shit because
I felt frustrated. I get it.
So I felt frustrated, but it was more like, you're taking up my time. I don't have time for this bullshit.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I don't like the bar scene. So, I also believe that people, like, if you like tennis, join a co-ed tennis or a pickleball.
Great place to meet
Lead
people.
with your interests is a great way to meet like-minded people. Right. But so the kid thing. So I start dating this guy and I thought they were twins, older, and I was wrong. And so I was like, okay, I love.
How old are they?
Well, I don't want to speak anything private.
Okay. Or they're teens?
I just don't want to,
sure.
Not young.
But you're not following your rule. That's it.
I'm not following the rule. Right. And what I found is, because that's my innate character, is nurturing and loving and bonding. And
you're meant to be around that.
So here I was putting a rule together. And
you weren't serving yourself. You knew you had to.
It was not self-serving. I like being and dating someone that has the teenage kind of age kids.
Yes.
And, and it's like, wow, Nicole, I didn't even realize how important
so you're
that was.
discovering yourself in your 50s. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. So so a lot of women were in our 50s. The kids are usually 15 and up for the most part, you know. And, it is definitely, I know for me with adult kids, I can't even really, if I start dating somebody, they don't want to hear about it. Because they lost their stepdad, which is he was such an involved dad for them. And sometimes I'm like, well, at what point do I tell them? But it kind of, the shit flipped and my kids kind of think they're my parents.
I get it.
Oh my God. I went to go visit my son a few weeks ago and it's like, his fiance who God love so much. I'm so blessed. And, we wanted to keep partying one night. And he's like, okay, whitewater rafting girls in the morning. Don't forget. I'm like, who are you?
Yes. I love that they become responsible.
It was really funny seeing that, like, okay, 10 minutes, come on, gotta go. I'm like, okay, on the itinerary today we're doing, I'm like,
you did a good job. You did a good job. That's what it is.
No,
yes.
It is beautiful, but it was fun getting snockered with her too. It is. So, these are the things you can, I think people have to be more open to what's out there. I'm learning in my journey. I do a podcast about dating in the 50s, but in the shit show doesn't mean I know everything.
No perfection. No. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
And listen, I'm learning every day. I've never had a healthy relationship, so I don't want to take this for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, every day we put effort into it. And I know I wasted a lot of time, but I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And everything you do is getting you experience to where you are. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that I had the journey I had. I'm so glad. I told the guy, I'm grateful for you, the one that burned me, the one that had a double life. Had he not done that, I would have been so oblivious, so naive. It hurt. Like, I can't even tell you how it hurt. I mean, my son, my 15-year-old son would pick me up and like, Mom, are you okay? I was just blindsided. But I'm so glad it happened because that made me a lot wiser.
And I had the same experience in my first relationship that was good. I don't like to say at this point, I'm not angry or this or that. I'm so grateful to that person because they brought me back to life from being a widow.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about what I needed to change in me to be a better person and happier for myself. And I think a big lesson learned for women in your 50s, maybe you came from a marriage where the guy did everything and took care of everything. You never had to make a decision. I also like to tell people, like, be involved. Don't be passive and not know account numbers and bullshit like that too.
I advise that very much so. I've ran every relationship, so that I always knew that, so I had to inform them on everything. Yeah, right. But my partner now also ran the show. So we are trying to mesh where he wants to do everything for me and I want to do everything for me. Do you know what I mean? And even do for him. So we have to balance that. But that is very smart advice. You never know what's going to happen. Someone could drop dead tomorrow and you're left like lost. So it's very important to take care of yourself first.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I mean, you can go dating during that journey. But I just think that, you know, I want women to feel and hear constantly on this podcast that the different things that we go through, you're in it. And, you know, if we can serve from examples of how to handle things or advice, or, hey, look at Susie. She went through the shit storm, did her shit, she did her work, and she's in this beautiful relationship now.
I'm a walking billboard of it because the people in my world saw the shit that I walk through. They saw it. And I deal with it on the other side. And I'm like, you know, people really, they're there for you, but enough already. You got to take care of yourself at some point. Yes. And we're victims. We become victims when we've been hurt, we've been abused, whatever. We become victims. And you know what? We're no victims. I'm not desperate. You're not desperate. I mean, they should be literally bowing down to us, these men. That's what, you know, and me to them if they are the person for me. And that's what I believe. That's what I believe. That's what I was looking for, and that's what I have.
Yeah. I have this theory, I don't even know for my whole life, I don't know when, but in a relationship, if you each put each other first, you know it?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
You can't fail.
You cannot fail.
Yes.
If you do that. But you have to get to that point where you're letting down and being vulnerable and allowing that person to love you, which is hard for me. It just is because of who I am.
Of course. It's not your natural way. That's not natural.
Yeah.
But
so in a healthy perspective on that, I have taken that gulp. Okay, I'm going to sit down and talk to this person about what, you know, isn't working or triggering me in this. Yeah. And so it's like, and it served me well. So like you talk about working through it every day. Every day is going to be a different day.
Things come up. There's sensitivities. You know, I am so free with how I talk. Yeah. And I'm with someone that didn't come from that background. So they're getting used to this. It can be really shocking to be around someone who's just out there that talks about everything. There's no filter. So he's getting used to that.
I definitely understand that. Okay.
Yeah. And so for me, I had all these feelings about things. I'm like, wrong, no, you know, like and I had to soften and he had to step up and we met each other. And that's time. It takes time. People they get out of marriages and they want something so quick. It's just not like that. You could meet someone, but if you didn't do the work, and I keep going back to this because I didn't do the work. You have to put energy into yourself. And you've said a few things today, but like, we don't put ourselves first. Women just don't, because we take care of our kids, we take care of our men, we take care of everyone. I am in a mode right now that I'm putting myself first. And because I found this love, that is taking care of me too. That I have this love and relationship. I just feel the most healthiest I've been, and I've learned so much. I really have.
I always say I'm my best version of myself now.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of that.
You should be.
But I did the work.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you talk about it. I talk about it. And, you know, no one wants to do freaking therapy. It sucks. You know, and the other thing is at some point you can't expect your friends to be your therapist. They're going to get exhausted.
That's what I was starting to say that I don't even want to hear it sometimes from my friends because they've asked for my advice. I've given it. I've been through their same scenario. They're not open to hearing it, but they act like they want it. So everyone has to do it at their own pace when they're ready. And sometimes a lot of shit has to happen to them first to be ready.
A lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I thank you for talking a little bit about a lot of shit that you went through. And so, you know, audience, you've heard many times from me talking about some tidbits of, you know, helpful advice or my guest talking about how you are not alone. And that's why I love having someone like you that's been there. It's inspiring to people that are like, what do I need to navigate change or is there hope? And, you know, I loved hearing your story.
Thank you.
And I loved having you on as a guest.
Thank
and I
you.
think you are a champion and you just emote and you glow happiness and love and independence and success. So
thank you so much. This has been amazing. And you're doing such great work because women need this. Women need this. They need to feel like they belong. I will say, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm on all of those sites on Facebook, like Are We Dating the Same Men? Oh my gosh. Yes. I don't even know why I'm still on it. I did it before. But sometimes I'll see people I went out with are listed on there and I'm like interested to read what they're writing about them. It's unbelievable, but women want to take care of healthier women want to take care of each other and they want to have each other's back. So I think that's great that you're doing this.
Well, thank you. And that's a wrap for today, audience. And as always, you know, I hope we brought to you a little laughter, a little fun, but a little knowledge and inspiration that you're not alone. And keep tuning in. And you never know what we're going to get. Edgy, serious specialists. But thank you for watching or listening. Until next time, Nicole Chanis, 50's AF Podcast. Thank you.